My name's Montoya, aka Black Socrates. Many of you know me from the most powerful hour on the radio, Mental Dialogue, every Sunday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern on glanceradio.com. Be sure to check me out there. Today's piece of my mind is why white America should see Fruitvale Station. Fruitvale Station is in the movie theaters right now, featuring Michael B. Jordan as the lead character, playing out Oscar Grant, the tragedy from New Year's 2009, just 16 days before the inauguration of President Barack Obama. And we actually get to see the day in his life before that tragic event where he was shot in the back and killed by a police officer at Fruitvale Station out in Oakland, California. And I took a couple days before I did the commentary because I just seen the movie a couple days ago, and I'm challenging white America to go see this movie. Basically, the incredible opportunity for this movie to come out right after the George Zimmerman, Trayvon Martin situational trial, or whatever you have. The timing of it is just absolutely incredible. Clearly, our country is up in arms, but the challenge that I make to white America is simply because as an African American, I have no idea what the freedom of having the non-possibility of a situation like Trayvon Martin or Oscar Grant or Sean Bell, situations over in the past where law enforcement, or in this George Zimmerman, so-called law enforcement officers have mistakenly or have accidentally or intentionally, for whatever matter, have killed a African American. I have no clue what living in America is like without that possibility. Now you may say, "Oh, you're exaggerating the situation," but yes, I've been stopped several times in my lifetime for absolutely no apparent reason. One time, having an officer point blankly ask me, "Are you transporting drugs?" And I was so confused because I was on the way back, being a military member, to my base, and just couldn't understand what he was even talking about. I did a show on Mental Dialogue where some of my Caucasian brothers called in and said they've never experienced that. And so the reason that I challenge white America is because of the tumultuous times that we've had over the last few weeks, and the need to talk about race as a country. We are actually still avoiding it, believe it or not, because we're still pointing fingers. And I don't want to say, white America, you needed to see it just so because I'm angry about what happened to Oscar Grant, which I am, but I'll never want to forget him, because I want white America to see this movie so that you can understand that people are losing their children. It's not that, people say, well, I understand that that's tragic, but no, you don't. Because when we see pockets of like Chicago and Detroit and Philadelphia where we have all this overwhelming death within our community, and people start saying, well, you're not looking at your own community, without realizing the facts are people kill people in their close proximity. 93% of all blacks are killed by other African Americans, where 84% of whites are killed by other whites. So that's not extremely abnormal in the sense of that's what you murder people who you know. It's not a bunch of people murdering people they don't know. I mean, it happens, but it's not overwhelmingly people outside your neighborhood. And since we clearly, as much as we say things have changed, unfortunately, people have been segregated to certain areas in the country for over 40 years. And so the reason I challenge white America to go see this movie, because when I was there, I didn't see one white person. And conceptually, I have no concept. We have to acquiesce and go to other movies to understand America. And when you're in the majority, that makes sense. Well, also when you're in the majority, you don't put yourself in the uncomfortable situation of being the minority in too often by choice. Well, go see Fruitvale Station so that you can at least understand the anger and the concern that the black and brown community has with losing their children. Our children are dying. That is our problem, America. Just as Barack Obama pointed out after his comments on Trayvon, I applauded him and respected him so for doing that, because we need to make these children who no longer feel like America cares about them, let them know we care about them, and it doesn't take a Sandy Hook tragedy before we say, well, let's be concerned about our children. Let's be concerned about our children all the time, because as I've said in a poem that that I have that says for all of us that are on the mountaintop, if we disregard those in the valley, one day they're going to get tired of battling themselves, and when there's nothing left for them to battle in the valley, they have no choice but to come up. Well, let's go take care of them and help them out and bring them up before they come up and scare America as we do politically. I'm tired of that. We don't need to do that. Let's have an honest conversation, and one step is to meet halfway for the majority, to meet the minorities halfway, and actually look into our lives and see what that's like. We know what your lives like. We've had to acquiesce, whether it's getting jobs personally, educationally. We've had to. The people think because everybody thinks the way I do. Well, you're naturally in the majority. That's why you have groupthink in the majority. And that's not to say that whites are one homogeneous group just as blacks are not as well. You know, we hate when there's a stereotype passed along to all of us that doesn't apply to all of us. So I'm not trying to work off any stereotype. I'm just asking that we have real conversations to save our children. Montoya, aka Black Socrates, you've gotten a piece of my mind.